Welcome back to another episode of the Ultimate Relationship Show. I'm your host, Midori Verity, and today we are going to be talking about how to reverse all that aging and feel younger and more vibrant and look more younger and vibrant. And our guest is an amazing, amazing doctor who has so much experience under her belt in this arena. So let me tell you a bit about Lorraine Maita, MD. She's a recognized and award-winning physician and author, transforming people's lives through preventative and anti-aging medicine. She's a diplomat of the American Academy of Anti-Aging and Regenerative Medicine and board certified in internal medicine and has over 20 years experience in preventative health and wellness, internal, occupational and travel medicine, and executive health. Just to wrap that all up, it just means that she has a ton of experience working with so many different people at different levels, and that she's really quite the expert. But also, I want you to know about her book. She has a new book that came out, Vibrance for Life, How to Live Younger and Healthier. I'm going to sign up for that book because that sounds like what I need. All right, so welcome. Thank you for being here with us.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really love talking about what I do because I help so many people and I see them transform their lives. So the more people I can help, the better.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that. Tell us a little bit about what you do and as far as helping with the anti-aging process. Give us some background on that so my listeners have a better idea of what that's all about.
Well, we're all going to age, but anti-aging means you're going to age at a much slower rate. And aging starts right after you're born. Let's face it, you're going to age. And I have people from all walks of life and every age. And a lot of them come to me and say, you know what, I don't feel like myself. And my doctor tells me I'm normal. What do I do? I'm feeling fat, flabby, flaky, foggy, fatigued, forgetful. I might be anxious or irritable. I'm losing my hair. My mojo is gone. It's really interfering with relationships and with work and with just everyday life. So people are really at wit's end. They don't know what to do. And I've, through, my fellowship in anti-aging medicine and functional medicine, I found what's the root cause of all of this. Mm-hmm. A lot of it has to do with lifestyle, and a lot of it has to do with hormones. And what I tell people who are scared about hormones is you can control your hormones. What you eat, what you drink, what you think, how much you exercise, how much you sleep, the toxins you're exposed to, all of those affect your hormones.
Okay, so let's talk about that because I do know you mentioned earlier that this doesn't just apply to people who are going through perimenopause or already feeling older. It also applies to those who are younger. So let's go into that a little bit. You talked about food and eating and sleeping. So give us some tips there to help us anti-age so that we can age more gracefully. How about that?
That's absolutely right up my alley. A lot of people are stressed out, and I don't care how old you are. I had a 16-year-old girl in the other day, and she was burnt out from competitive swimming. And, well, not the other day. She came in feeling so much better. But who doesn't suffer from stress? So some of the things that can exacerbate stress and make it worse and make your stress hormone cortisol break you down and age you, that's called a major ager because it breaks down muscle, makes you fat, breaks down bone, it makes you frail, it prevents you from remembering. You get that brain freeze from stress. It makes you lose your hair, and it makes you moody and crave sugars. So what I try to tell people to do is to take a step back, stop the cortisol production. Breathing exercises are very helpful, and not burning out your adrenal glands with sugar, caffeine, processed foods, and carbs. So get the rest, get the relaxation, get your sleep, and eat really healthy, nutritious foods. And when that doesn't work, then you get some measurements, and I can actually put together a program for people with using adaptogenic herbs and high-dose multivitamin mineral formulas. But the rest of the things you can just do on your own.
Okay, so I love that, and that you just made that so simple, what you just said. So no matter what, we're going to have stress. You mentioned it, and cortisol is just the output of it, and it has such a big, huge effect on us. So by cutting out the sugars, everything that you just said are things that I love, but if we can get control of our sugars and cutting back, I don't know that I can give up caffeine, but if I cut back on caffeine and getting enough sleep, that is a really good jump start to helping us live healthier. And then getting, whether it's meditating or yoga or something to help us kind of free up our brain a little bit, huh?
Absolutely. Or even if you get engrossed in a hobby, these are simple things, because we get on that treadmill of all checking off everything on our to-do list. And what should be at the top of your to-do list is self-care and taking a little bit of time for yourself. And even if it's, my husband loves gardening, so he'll go out and he'll plant trees, and just being outdoors in nature or taking a walk in nature is very, very relaxing and soothing. So find something that really resonates with you, because not everybody's going to want to do yoga or meditation, but a walk in the woods is meditation, a walk along the beach, staring at a fire.
Anything. And I like that, because what if you can go on a walk with your partner? Me being the relationship coach, I love that idea, but anything to connect. And like you said, it doesn't have to be some big drawn out thing like a yoga class or meditation. I've tried and I just can't get it down. So it's nice to hear that, just a simple walk is really healthy for us.
And working with your partner creates bonding, holding hands, that physical closeness. It pours out a hormone called oxytocin, which is the bonding hormone. Mothers bond with their children, but you can bond with your partner with touch.
Yes.
It's a beautiful thing.
It is. I think they say there's science behind this. I think it's a 6-second kiss. If you do a 6-second kiss, or if you embrace for 12 seconds, it has such a psychological effect on your whole body. So talking about anti-aging, I think it's right along those lines, because all of this is mental as well as physical. So I think it's important to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so let's go into some of those, some of us who, let's say we have been eating way too much sugar all of our lives and drinking too much coffee, and our stress levels are extremely high. So we've already experienced the problems that can happen. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you see your clients coming in with and how you deal with those.
Well, a lot of the other challenges they come in with is we're dynamic beings. We're always changing. And the changes, when most women and even men start noticing the changes in their 30s, and it depends upon the diet. There are things in your diet that are hormone disruptors. And it's also toxins that you use, things on your skin, things in the air, chemicals, herbicides, pesticides, hormones in meat, dairy, poultry. All these things affect you. And as I said, my patients come in just feeling not like themselves. And one of my theories is that midlife crisis is women's progesterone drops in midlife. It starts in the 30s and it really becomes quite evident in the 40s. So they get anxious and irritable, and they're kind of in your face, angry, everything bothers them. And then the men, when their testosterone drops, they're listless, so they're pulling back. So the women are like this and the men are like this, and they, the relationship goes like that. So I often have husbands who call asking making appointments for their wives, or wives calling, making appointments for their husbands, but some of them come together. And these are easy things to fix. Oftentimes just changing your diet can help. Not everything requires hormone replacement. So getting out the sugars is one thing, but getting out what they call the hormone disruptors and the obesogens are really important. So some of the things are BPAs in plastic. So I tell people never heat in plastic. Try to have more fresh and frozen. Try not to eat out of cans and things, because they're aligned with BPAs.
Right.
Choose hormone-free, antibiotic-free meat, dairy, and poultry, because the hormones that they were fed to get fat, you're going to eat and you're going to get fat, and they're going to disrupt your hormones. So Organic, grass-fed is always the best, and wild-caught fish is always the best. But sometimes it gets expensive, so at least you can find hormone-free, antibiotic-free right in your regular grocer. Another thing is look at your personal care products. Things that contain parabens and phthalates and fragrances and sodium lauryl sulfate. All of those things disrupt your hormones, both your thyroid hormone, and they act like estrogen on your receptors. And they can make you fat. They can cause all of these vague chronic symptoms that people are experiencing, and they just don't feel right. They don't feel like themselves. And the other thing are herbicides and pesticides. So it's a little bit hard to eat everything organic, but I say eat the dirty dozen organic. Excuse me. The Dirty Dozen, you can Google that or go on the Environmental Working Group site. Those are the sites that measure the pesticide level and herbicide level in fruits, and vegetables. And they have what they call the Clean 15 and the Dirty Dozen. So if you cut down on those foods, because it's hard to completely eliminate, you're halfway there. You're getting rid of all these hormones and that are outside. They're not really hormones, but they disrupt your hormones. And it could calm the women down and make the men feel more energetic. And it brings you together.
So simply by changing what you buy at the grocery store can positively affect both of you.
Yes, absolutely.
Wow. Okay. So if I want to look younger, just by changing my diet, that's going to help quite a bit?
Absolutely. I put everybody on it's a detoxification diet. It's about looking and feeling great. I hate to call it a diet because it's a transformative way of eating. I have a short 2-week program called the Shake, Bake, and Salad Slim Down, and you don't have to want to lose weight to do it, because what I found with my patients is that chronic conditions go away. People who've had gastrointestinal disturbances, skin rashes, joint pain, mental fog, poor energy, poor sleep, even night sweats and hot flashes, people who have heartburn, all of this can go away in 2 short weeks. And then the other 2 weeks, we look for food sensitivities. We eliminate the 10 most troublesome foods for 2 weeks, and then we reintroduce them in their pure form one at a time to see if you react to them. And this is why a diet has to be individualized, and it becomes a lifestyle. And that doesn't necessarily mean you can never eat those foods again, but then the foods that you react to, once you heal, you can start having them in small quantities less frequently. So I never like to say never, but what's advertised as good for one person is not necessarily good for another person.
Yeah, that's an important point because everyone's body is so different. So I love that. And I'll say I had to stop eating bread and pastas because it was affecting me negatively, and that was a long time ago. Now I can eat them once in a while and I'm okay. I just can't do it I can't do it all the time. So it works.
Here, I do it on the weekends. 1 day a week I'll have bread and I'll have wine some other days, and I mix it up and I feel good. I mean, in fact, right now I'm detoxing, so that's your symptoms come out a little bit worse. So I do it right after every holiday, and I do it after the summer or anytime I feel a lack of energy. And it's transformed so many people's lives, and it's hard to believe. In fact, I had a guy who's like this. What are you telling my wife to do? This sounds like, bleep, bleep, bleep.
Right.
And I told him I was an unbeliever as well, but I asked him to support her. And they were back a month later. She says, I feel great. And he now is one of my most loyal, trusted patients.
Isn't it
he's transformed his life.
And it's amazing when you have that. And when you go from having no energy and just feeling sluggish to all of a sudden having that vibrance again, boy, that feels good. I want to talk a little bit about hormone replacement because that's been a hot button issue for many reasons. You've mentioned a little bit that by changing your diet and changing the way that you live a little bit, sometimes you are able to avoid hormone replacement. Is that right?
Absolutely. I have a lot of people that come in that once they change their diet, they feel so much better. They don't need hormones.
Okay, what about supplements? Because I've heard that there's certain supplements that are good too to help you with your hormones as you're reaching
Yes,
menopause.
in younger women with PMS or menstrual migraines or fluid retention, hair loss, infertility. I sometimes use chasteberry. You have to be very careful with supplements because not all of them are good quality. They don't always have what's stated on the label. Sometimes they have harmful contaminants. So I would always get them from a trusted advisor who really understands supplements. But chasteberry is really good for early stages, women with PMS, migraines, perimenopause. Now, men, they can have prostate issues, or they can have, men with the big bellies and the big boobs. Well, their testosterone is actually changing into estrogen, which is toxic for men. So they need to cut back on alcohol, have some zinc, and detoxify so that and maybe an herb called chrysin can often help prevent that conversion of testosterone into estrogen. For stress, I recommend a high-dose BC magnesium multivitamin mineral formula, and also adaptogenic herbs like ashwagandha, rhodiola. They're very helpful in putting the brakes on so the cortisol doesn't go too high or too low. It's kind of like training wheels. If you have trouble sleeping at night and you're stressed out, phosphatidylserine is excellent. It's a
Wait, I
long.
have to ask you something because all these I'm like, oh yeah, I need to get this and this, and I don't even know how to spell them. Do you have somewhere where you have this information where we can send people, or is it in your book, or should they just call you?
It's in my book, and
Okay.
I write a lot of blogs. So on my website, howtoliveyounger.com, I have some blogs. The Shake, Bake, and Salad Slim Down, you can just go www.shakebaconsaladSlimDown.com, and that's a whole 40-day program, 30-day program where you get daily emails, you get all of this information about diet and how to do it and how to test for food sensitivities and the best products. Also, if you go on my other website, vibranceforlife.com, and join the Supplement Savvy Club, I give people access to direct to the manufacturers to very high quality supplements, and I have a sheet on how to use them as well, like which
Awesome.
supplements I use for what, because it is a lot to remember.
It's a
But in the book,
spelling.
yeah, but in the book, just a multivitamin mineral formula, fish oil, and a vitamin D is all that's your basic, preventive formula.
Okay. Say that again. Fish oil, vitamin D, and what was it? Was there a third one?
Multivitamin mineral formula.
Okay. All right. So just remember that if you can't get to the other things. But of course, on my website, we'll have this information for you too. So if you didn't catch all that, don't worry. Just go to my website, look up this podcast, and it will be there.
Easy.
So I love all this information that you're sharing with us, and it's so helpful, and it's so many people go through life not realizing that they can be helped. They just kind of feel like, oh, it's just part of life. And maybe their doctor puts them on medication or treats the symptoms rather than solving the system, the symptoms, which that's why I love bringing people such as yourself to help educate people, because you don't have to live that way, and you can feel good regardless of your age, and you can prevent so many big illnesses if you take charge early enough. So I am so thankful for all this information that you're sharing with us. But as I do with most of my guests, most of my special guests, we play a truth or truth game. Are you up for that?
I'm totally up for that.
Okay, awesome. All right, so we're going to start. And let me just tell you the rules of the truth or truth game. There are no passes. You have to answer 100% honestly, and you can say whatever you want. So work is on most of the questions, I'm going to have an A, B, or C, and then some of them are open-ended, but I will tell you when it is. So ready?
Ready.
Okay. First question. Who do you think is the hottest celebrity of all time? Bradley Cooper, Tom Brady, Leonardo DiCaprio, or Robert Redford?
Oh, it used to be Robert Redford, but now it's Bradley Cooper.
I've gotten that answer a few times now. I still love Robert Redford,
I
but
still do too.
Robert
They
or
have
Bradley
to.
Cooper is just such a cutie. So I agree. Okay. Who has influenced you the most in your life?
Well, that's a hard one. I've had so many people influence me. I get my loving kindness from my grandmother. My husband always asked me, "How did you become so loving?" I said, "That was from my grandmother. She even cooked with love."
Oh,
I had a professor in college that encouraged me to go on and do bigger and better things. And we're still in touch. And I'm a lot older than I look because I practice anti-aging. And some physicians that I've worked with that have really poured out their heart and soul and the way they handled patients and their intellect. It's just too long a list. I can't even pick one person.
but it's
And
good to have a
my
few.
mother, and my father.
And my dog. And yeah, no, I think it's good to have a lot of influencers, positive influencers in your life. So that's great. Okay, so next question. What is the most attractive quality to you in a man? A, integrity. B, humor. C, big pec muscles. And D, a fat wallet.
It's integrity. I've dated all the other three, and there's no comparison to somebody who has integrity. And when they look in your eyes and say, I adore you, and they're for real and they're not playing games, there no amount of money or laughing or humor, any of that could ever take the place of that integrity. That trust, that bond, it's so important in a relationship.
I agree. And when you have that person who adores you and looks at you, just like you're saying, looks at you in
Yeah.
your eyes and says those kind things, there's nothing that feels
Yeah.
better, right?
My heart melts.
Yes, yes. And that's what a relationship should be like. So I love that you have that. Okay, let's see. What should my last question be to you? Okay. What pickup line? I know that you're married now, but let's just go back a little bit. So, what pickup line would work best on you if you were single? So, A, can I follow you home because my parents always told me to follow my dreams? B, can I take your picture to prove to all my friends that angels do exist?
Wow.
C, I seem to have lost my phone number. Can I have yours? What those are your three options. Which one do you think would have worked best on you?
Oh, I don't. At different times in my life, different things would work best. But I think that the first two don't sound so authentic. They're a little bit too flattering. I think I would go for the humor one.
Okay. That would get me. At least it would open me up to conversation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much for all this very, very important information about transforming your life, especially for those who have been suffering and not feeling very frustrated because you don't know what to do and not getting the answers that you really need. So I encourage you to reach out to her and look her up. Again, if you go to midoriverity.com, all of her sources will be there. And then her book, if you just want to simply go and get that book, the name of the book once again is Vibrance for Life, How to Live Younger and Healthier. Also, it'll be on our website, so you can find it there. But I do encourage you to really take action steps to change the way that you feel if you are feeling any of those negative feelings, because it doesn't have to be that way. And the stuff really does work. It's science. It's not made up. It's science. So anyway, once again, thank you so much for being here with us.